Welcome to Smartwave YouTube channel. You know that in this channel it's all about tech, it's all about technology as a whole, it's all about encouraging you to learn new things and stay positive and also be useful to yourself. So today I'll be showing you tools that you need to learn as a UI/UX designer to be more than a UI/UX designer, to be a full stack UI/UX designer. So UI/UX design doesn't end only in Figma. So some of these tools will give you an edge above others. Now I'll be showing you some things. Now this is Figma. Some of us end up learning only Figma, and after learning Figma, that's all. You know how to prototype, you know how to do your wireframe, you know how to do your site mapping, you know how to build your colors and what's it called, styles, your styles and all that. It doesn't end there. Now some of these companies, you may want to get a work there and they ask you some other questions apart from Figma, if you know how to do one or two things, because you are designing app for someone and you don't actually know how to develop this app. It's not necessarily that you know how to develop them. So this is a design I actually did for Smartwave. If you can see it, actually did for Smartwave on Figma. Now only thing you can do on Figma here is to prototype it. Maybe you try to export the code using some plugins and all that. Now when I was actually making use of Figma as a UI/UX designer, it's very good, but there are more to UI/UX design that will give you an edge. So today I'll be showing you this. As a UI/UX designer, it's good that you learn what's it called, FlutterFlow. Now FlutterFlow is a very good platform for you to do drag and drop and develop your app, even deploy them. Now let me show you. You can see that this is the design that I'm doing. I'm trying to replicate it here. And one thing about FlutterFlow is this: you can actually deploy your app, you can actually do eventually everything. But if you want to apply some high features, you can actually pay for some features, but this is totally free. You can actually do some of these things for free. Now here you can actually see the things I'm doing here. This this now this actually an app. Now you can see the preview of this app to make sure that it's working. You can see, to make sure. And one thing about FlutterFlow, you can actually test, put your app on test mode, run it. You can see it from here. Put your app on test mode, run it, click it, and it will actually work and send everything back to your back end. Now another thing in this unique about this, if you go to setting, you can see that I'm using Supervate as my back end. I'm using Superbase as my back end. Now, there are a lot of things you can do here. You can see the app details, app assets, navigation bar, walkthrough. You can do your collaboration, page set of collaboration. Now, they automatically have Firebase, which is another back end platform for automation and all that. So, all this is authentication, push notification, mobile deployment and all those. So you can actually web deployment. When you are designing, you can also when you are designing, it's also converting it to web. I don't know how to put it, so that you can actually deploy as a web and also as an app. Now if you see here in app purchase, subscription, all these things, you can actually add some of these things. Now the integration, you can see how you can integrate your app, as back end. You can see I'm using Superbase. If you can see it here, that's why it's white and all that. So a lot of things to do with this. Now as a UI/UX designer, I will advise you that after learning Figma, you actually try to learn FlutterFlow, because it gives you this sense of, okay, I'm a developer too, even though you may not know how to code. So if you learn these two things, Figma, FlutterFlow and all that, it will give you an edge. Now another thing is learn how to do your, what's it called, do your entity relationship modeling or diagram. Now there are so many platforms that you can use for this. Actually using DB diagram. Now you can see for this my app, the project management app, you can see the entity diagram and all that. Now, try to use some of this platform to actually draw your diagrams, your database modeling and all that. So it's also very good for you to learn how back end, at least know how to do some of these things. And our advice, if you want to learn how to do this, use the one I'm using, Superbase. So there's a focus. You can see the project I'm doing. If you see here, these are all the back end uh this thing, that's the entity diagram tables. If you come to this place, the database, you can see automatically this platform will draw it for you since you have actually started connecting your relational tables and all that. So you can see it here. If you go to home, you can see the project, 31st January, 31st January, I signed in authentication request and all that. So you can see the this thing at the back end, the report at the back end. So this actually, I connected this to this FlutterFlow, I integrated it to this FlutterFlow. I'm using Superbase. I'm more conversant with Superbase than Firebase, which the FlutterFlow use. So you can actually make use of Superbase, which is a very good platform. But for your diagram and schemas, I have other platforms that you can use for your schemas, to draw your schemas apart from this particular BD diagram. Now here you can actually have ChatGPT plugins or code interpreter. You can have this, there are a lot of them. You can have this quick DBD, quick database diagram. You can have SQL DB. So some of these platforms, Superbase, this is the one I'm using here, Superbase. You can also use, but this acts also, one thing about the Superbase, it acts as here it says the back end as a server platform that can automatically create database schema. Now you can see that it's actually created database schema. When I was doing it, you can see it here, it's automatically created this for me when I was actually um adding my tables and all that, you know adding my database, doing my database design. So automatically create database schema from users defined API endpoint or description and integrate directly with Postgres SQL, allow you to wire differently, and they make use of APIs. It's not like SQL that you start doing a lot of things. So, and if you come here, you can see the API. Let me show you the API, how I connected the API. You can see how I connected the API of the Superbase here and get the schema and all that. And you can actually clear it if you want, but I'm working on this project, so I'm not actually clearing it. So as a UI/UX designer, this is actually some of the things you should actually make sure to learn. So there are a lot of, where is that? There are a lot of things here for your data. You can use Prisma, Rito, and there are a lot of them. There are a lot of them. So try and learn some of these things. Now, another thing I use here is Miller Notes. Now, Miller Notes is also a very powerful tool for me. I use it for so many things. For example, this database design, you can actually click on it. Is it opening? Uh, I don't know. Network. Okay, it's open. When I was doing this, when I was doing database design, I tried to actually draw some of these things here and make my notes, keep my notes. And from here, you can actually share. You can see you can actually share it. You can actually share it. You can actually share it with password and a lot of things. So, like, it's a very good platform also to make your notes. You can actually export PDF image as Word documents. Now, for this project I'm embarking on, um, this is actually the project management tool. Now, you can see actually the whole thing I did here before I started doing my database. And if you go to this document, you can actually see this, how I listed everything that I needed and others. So this is also a very good platform for you to do your what's it called, some of your use it as your mood board and some of your usual research and all that. So these tools are very good for you as a UI designer. Don't just stick your axe on only on Figma, doing Figma. No, just you have to actually do some of these things, learn them. You can learn Superbase, learn Figma, learn FlutterFlow. You are good to go. Superbase will teach you actually how to do your entity relationship diagram, entity relationship modeling, and all that. So try to get a course on some of these things. It actually place you above other UI/UX designers when you are looking for a job, when they know fully well that you can actually design this app and make it work. So it's a very great advantage. Thank you. If you like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share to others, give it a likes and comment. Thank you.